Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to another video. Today, welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to be talking about drawing or art classes more specifically. I had a recent experience. I went to a life drawing class. I've been to life drawing before, but it was more like, there was no like tutoring. There was probably about 30 people there. You just crack on. Somebody walks around and kind of looks at your stuff, but you never really kind of got any critique or anything like that. So I want to do something a little bit different. I've joined a small class. There's literally only like 4 of us in there. I did my first lesson this Thursday just gone. It's 6 sessions, about 3-4 hours each. So I kind of just want to show what I did in that lesson and kind of discuss sort of what I learned really. I kind of went with the objective of becoming better at figure drawing, but it seems, I wouldn't say he's trying to teach me something else, but it didn't go in the direction I expected, I'll put it that way. But I am going to kind of see it through. It kind of showed me a different way of thinking. What I've realised is that I don't necessarily think like an artist. So yeah, I got there anyway. There was like 3 ladies and then the guy who was the teacher, and he was like, "Oh, this is your easel there," because I was the last one there. I was on time, but I was the last one there. And I was chatting to these people. I didn't realise one of the women was actually the model. I just thought she was there like to learn to draw or whatever. So when he was like, "Right, let's crack on, let's just do a drawing to see where we're all at or whatever," and she stepped out and went, "Right, okay." I was like, okay. I wasn't expecting that. I mean, I was expecting it, but not like because I thought she was a student. It was like, oh, okay. He put my easel really close to the model as well, like right next to them. But he said to me when I came in, he said, "That's your easel there, you go there." I was like, okay, I'll go here. So I stayed where I was, and he was like, "Could you move back a bit?" I'm like, "I'm not creeping on the model here, you put me here." Like, I didn't know she was going to stand here. There was like a mat next to me, he put me right next to the mat. So I was a bit like, yeah, fair enough, but just remember, you told me to be here. I wasn't like edging close, because that's weird, you know. Anyway, a little bit awkward, but whatever. There's always a bit of awkwardness and stuff like that, for me anyway. So, first drawing, he basically said just like, see where you're at, and everyone was like, well, I said everyone, so there was basically like, there was the model, another 2 students there, and him, the teacher. So the other two were like, oh, don't judge me too much. I'm not too bothered about stuff like that, let's be honest. So I was like, right, I'll just crack on. But looking back at what I started with and where I finished, I'm like, oh, okay. He did definitely get me like taking a different approach by the end of it. So it was a 2-minute pause. We only did like quick pauses in this one, so it's 2 minutes. So bear in mind, it was 2 minutes. He just gave us like a sticker, I think it was willow charcoal, and he was like, just draw. And when I think about it, I got too caught with like trying to get things accurate, but then I was rushing at the same time. So anyway, this is what I came out with. I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully you can see that quite clearly. Yeah, so you can see my lines are very like scratchy. I was just like scratch. You can tell I was just kind of like really cautious to get the proportions right, and so because that was obviously the first pose she did. I thought, well, I'm not going to have any time to do detail on the face. I mean, it's not really about detail on the face anyway, but obviously if you've got time then you start filling in a bit more detail. I drew it a bit too big, so I couldn't even like fit the feet on there, but like I said at the start, she was like right next to me. So obviously once I backed off, that was a little bit easier, but it is a recurring theme that I kind of start drawing and I draw too big. I like to draw big, that's the thing with me. So yeah, I did those 2, and then the reason there's a big gap at the side is he was like, alright, change sheets after this. So yeah, I did those 2. I think we did, why is there 2 actually? I don't know if we did a 2 and a 5, but that doesn't look like a 5-minute, does it? Next to it. So I don't know if we did 2 minutes and she just changed poses, but yeah, that was kind of the first attempt. And then after that, he kind of spoke to us about like, oh, okay, he showed us like some artworks on like a projector, and I was a bit like, because a lot of it was just like squiggle, and I know there's like, obviously there's different types of art, so some people argue that, you know, you can just make a mess on the canvas and if you get lucky it's art, or if you've got a big name you can kind of do that and make some money. There is an argument for that, to be fair. But like, he showed us one picture that he'd done, and it was like, just literally, I'm not even kidding, just that. And then there's like a little foot sticking out at the bottom. And he was like, yeah, it's really like thought-provoking, isn't it? And I was like, not really. But I think what I discovered as I went on, you do have to kind of get into a different mindset. There's something to be said for, I think, that way of drawing. It's not for me, if I'm being honest, but I do think there's something I could take from it and then put into my own drawings. Because I'm kind of like, if you imagine there's a pendulum like this, and one's like realism and one's like just out there, I'm probably like here, where really I should probably be more like here. Maybe not in the middle, but maybe like here. I think that's where I want to be, so I need to kind of just maybe try and like pull myself back a little bit, if that makes sense. Because he was very more like expressionistic and stuff, and he did show us some drawings that were more anatomically like correct, but he was saying the more expressionistic ones are more interesting, and I can see why somebody would think that or feel that, because I think it's the difference between viewing art sort of intellectually, as in, is that right, is that accurate, is it correct, and then viewing it kind of like, oh, what kind of emotions does this bring out in me, which is what I kind of like struggle to do, I think. I still struggle to do a little bit, but I think maybe with the help of this course I might get better at it. So the next drawings we did, how long did he give us for these now? I think he gave us, he either gave us 2 or 5, I should have written it down. Wait, did I just put it there? I did actually. No, I didn't. It was 2 or 5 minutes. It might be 3 actually. I think he gave us 3 minutes for these. So it looks like I've kind of achieved a lot more, but basically what he said was like, okay, so think about mark making, think about like take the model as inspiration to make those marks, but sort of like don't actually draw the model. And I was like, what? Okay, alright, I thought he probably just wants me to like be a bit more messy and exaggerate things a bit more. So that's what I did, and he was like, you know, experiment with like the materials more. So like the willow charcoal, we had compressed charcoal, you know, compressed is a lot darker, the willow's a lot lighter, but the compressed you can't really leave it red as much. We had like a chamois cloth, you know, to smudge it, and a rubber. So I was like, oh, okay. So I started drawing, and this is what I came out with. Two very, very different. Now, if you used to ask me and I was to look at those, the one on my right hand side, I'd be like, that's the better one. But what he was actually going for was this. So I did this one first. And I started drawing it, and to be honest, all this razzmatazz around the bottom, it wasn't, you know, all this, it's a bit messy near the bottom and then kind of gets a bit more sensitive at the top. That's because he came around and he was like, I was drawing the legs and he was like, no, that's, no, like just erase the body, like just get inspired with like the shapes and marks. I was like, oh, right, okay. So then I went a bit more chaotic. I rubbed out the legs with the cloth. I thought, I'm not rubbing out the top because I like the shape I've got there. So don't think he was happy with that. But like the big square there was a window in the room. It wasn't necessarily, I don't think it was a mirror. It wasn't necessarily where it is there, but I was like, oh, there's a square. So I just did a square, threw a square in there. There's a bit of a, you can sort of make a nipple in the bottom, sort of like here. Like a little bit of a nipple. I just like rubbed out a circle and then did a little circle in the middle. I should have warmed the rubber up a bit more. I didn't realise if you warm the rubber up it's a bit more effective. But then, yeah, some of the charcoal I made it kind of look more like smoke coming up from it. So I quite like that. even though it's messy, I quite like it. And then the other one, I was like, okay, right, now I know what he wants me to do. She did like 2 poses. Actually, I think she did like 2 3-minute poses for the second one. And yeah, I just went all over the place. And he was happy with this. So like, yeah, there's a lot of like twisty lines in there because her pose was like twisty. The big squiggle at the top, she had like curly like hair, so I was like, oh, squiggles. I did a couple like sharp points in there somewhere, sharp edges because of like her elbows, and there was like, yeah, and her bum crack. I put that in there somewhere. You can't pick that out. This is what I mean. It's like he wanted it more like you stare at it and go, oh, what could that be? What could this be? So to me, that I'm not gonna lie, it just looks like a mess. But I get what he was going for. As the lesson went on, I got more what he was going for. So yeah, that was those 2. So yeah, he was more happy with the one that was like way more chaotic, because he wasn't like giving us like criticism what we were doing, but this was more just an exercise to just kind of go at it and experiment with the materials. So yeah, and then I hope I've got the order right that I did these things. I think this is right. And then we did like 5 2-minute poses. So this is going to take quite a bit of looking at this one. If you want to kind of figure out what I was actually drawing. I can just about figure it out here. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I didn't number 5. Number 5 is the top right one, I think. Or the top left, it'll probably be on your screen. So yeah, basically he was like, right, use that chaotic style, but then bring it into kind of drawing, like, you know, like drawing the model a bit more accurately, kind of mix the 2 styles if you like. So I was like, okay, I can work with that a bit more. So this one, I just used mega loose lines, big line on the back to show, I was basically just capturing the angle of the model, because bearing in mind, it's like 2 minutes ago, you didn't get long to do these. So you're just catching, it's kind of like you're letting go and being like, oh, don't focus too much on the focus on the detail, but don't be like, get bogged down in it. Just boom, sweeping lines. If it's wrong, just sweep over it again, or sham it out and draw over it, or rub it out, draw over, whatever. So you can kind of see, she had like her arms like up in like a diamond shape over her hair. You can kind of see it there. So I did kind of capture the form initially, and do you know what, like, I do think if you can start off a drawing like this, it is more fun drawing like this, and you do capture the initial shape, and you can capture it kind of like quickly, and it's not frustrating. And then when you can see it forming, you're like, oh, I've got something to work with here. So yeah, that was interesting. So yeah, there was that one, and then number 2, which is the one like at bottom middle. You can't really make it out there, but if you can spot the squiggle on number 2, that's where her hair is. So she was actually like crouching in like a ball shape, and I just went proper chaos with that one. I think I've got a bit more liberal as I went along. And then which one's number 3 now? 2 was down there. Oh, 3. Yeah, so 3, you can see she's kind of like kneeling with her leg back. So you can kind of see that sweeping motion. Yeah. And then he was like, I was really concentrated on not overlapping them. But he was like, it doesn't matter if you overlap them, if you draw them on top of each other, it doesn't matter. Because you can kind of make an interesting image of that. And I was like, oh, okay. And again, I think this is where I struggled to let go, because I was like, oh, I'm not doing that. And I think I need to work on that a little bit. So yeah, and then the bottom left one's number 4. She was kind of like hunched over. I kind of made her look like some weird witch woman there, I feel like, with what I did with her hair. And then yeah, number 5, she was kind of just standing up. That was probably the one I was least happy with. It was just, yeah. I got the rough shape of that, but I wasn't very happy with that. But I'd kind of like boxed myself into the corner, and yeah, like I said, I wasn't really like just overlapping it like he said I could do. So, and then after that, I think he went, right, okay, So now it'd be like really free with it, but we'll do 5 minutes this time. And I thought, oh great, well maybe I can kind of build up some more detail. But what I found was that I was really free with it for like 2 minutes, then I had most of it done. And then it was like, all right, well now what do I do? Oh, I just drill down some detail. And then it was like, but then I was like, oh, but he doesn't want me to really do that. So I didn't really know, so I just found myself kind of like floundering for the last few minutes. And then the second one on here, I kind of like refocused and was like, or kind of like didn't focus as much and just try to have a bit more like fun with it and be a bit more free. And you can kind of tell between the two. Like, so the one on the right is the one I did first, and I kind of just got to 2 minutes. Like, I don't know where to go with this. Like, I was just like what does he want from me? You know, because it's almost like in that style. I think you can almost take too long to draw it. I don't know. I don't know if I'm right or wrong about that, but some of the pieces I saw that he showed us were just like a few squiggles of biro that like suggested a person there, and it was like they'd sold for like a lot of money, and I was like, when you work out the amount of time someone must have spent on that to make that money, like you could do it in like 10 minutes if you're just talking about like expression and emotion. But is time really quantifiable to the value of a piece of work? Like logically you would think so. Time spent, like you look at oil paintings, you pay someone a lot of money for oil paintings because the tools are expensive and it takes them a long time to do it. So yeah, I know it's strange, but yeah, this one, oh yeah, I was more liberal with it. She had like a hand in a pose behind her that like flicking up, so I just made a spiral. I was like, oh, that'll look artistic, that'll make him happy. I don't think it did though. I felt like he was like, with everything I did. Not like, it's not good. Like, just like I wasn't quite being as free as he wanted me to be. And I was trying. I did get more free by the end of it though. I did make some progress. So, but you know, we've got 6 sessions, so I'm not worried about like, oh, am I hitting the standard or whatever. The thing is, I don't think there is a standard to hit. He's not going to say that's rubbish, not good enough, you know. Sometimes I want people to say that though. I don't want them to say it, but yeah, just like, but again, it depends what you're going for. Like, I'm going for the accuracy, then I want him to say that. But he wasn't bothered about the accuracy, so I guess he was never going to say that. Yeah, I don't know, it's weird. These two, oh no, I did it. Sorry, I did these two really earlier on. And he was just like, oh, just mess around with mark making again. But one is willow charcoal, the one on the right, sorry, it went a bit blurred I think. The one on the right is willow charcoal, and one on the left is compressed. And it was just kind of experimenting with the two really. You know, oh, and then he was like, oh, which do you like? And I was like, oh, I like both. Like, I do like both. Like, I like the compressed because I can make the stronger lines. I like the willow because I can just do some softer stuff. So yeah, for me it's a combination of the two. I don't really have a preference, but I think it was a similar pose on. Did she do the same pose for both? No, she did a slightly different pose for both. So yeah, but you can see there, like again, that was, I think that was maybe 3 minutes. 3 minutes on that one. I think we only did one pose that was like a little bit long, and I think that was the last one. I say a little bit long, it wasn't that long. I think we did some 5-minute ones, so yeah, this one was a 5-minute one near the end, where I was like, okay, be like, again, you like kind of capture the feeling that you get from the model or whatever. She was kind of like leaning forward, so I was like, okay, she's coming out of the shadows. I'm not sure that's what it was after me doing that, but I was like, I'm gonna do that anyway. And then her hair wasn't that long, but I was like, well, this is what I'm feeling. I was squiggling the lines everywhere, extending them and blurring stuff and making certain lines heavier and more pronounced. Yeah, and again, like, Buddy, I should have. It's getting proportions for me. Not proportions as in the body compared to itself. I mean like fitting the whole thing into the frame. Like a lot of the time I draw too big and I don't manage to do that. So yeah. So I don't really know how I feel about that one. I mean, yeah, I kind of like the wispiness of the like, smoke or something, like, and then she kind of like fades away down and she's like coming out of the dark or something, yeah. But yeah, then this one was the last one that I did, which was I kind of like this one actually. This does look sort of artistic, but I think at least I did like 2 or 3 that I'm like, I like them. I'm not sure if they're good, but I like them. So this one, she was like, I think she's like kind of legs crossed and then like one hand on the mat, well, both hands on the mat, but one like behind, one forward, and I was kind of like at the side of her. So I kind of like went for more like circular motions to kind of capture it. Like I simplified a foot there, you can see in the bottom right, because I was like, well, we've only got 5 minutes here, so I can't draw bloody toes, but I kind of like sort of made it into a mesh and then did like some kind of, again, like I was like, oh, I like this kind of smoky like effect. Like I did that off her hair. I think I got the proportions pretty good, but again, it wasn't about that. But like if I did it and I got the proportions totally wrong, it just bothered me. Like I can do it loose and everything, and I can do it maybe not necessarily looking like what it's supposed to be, but if I know that line is representing the arm, I don't want it being super long. And I think I need to get round that if I want to kind of. I think sometimes I need to get around that. Maybe not all the time, but sometimes I do. But I did like, interestingly enough, like on her elbow, which is kind of like down here. You can see like I kind of just made like some more heavier marks because I was like, oh, her elbow's like pointed. So I was like, and I kind of like, yeah, it's like I'm drawing it, but I'm not drawing it. It's like you're drawing like a child again. But yeah, it is. It's literally like you're drawing like a child. Like you're not like really high focusing on the detail. Like this was more about like shape and form, but also trying to convey like what I was like feeling. When I looked at it, I was just feeling like this, this feeling like she was in a ball. So I'm just going to check the washing machine because I can't hear it and that's worrying. Yeah, it's fine, don't worry. It wasn't turning on before, and I think it just gone on like and like unplugged itself. So I had to kind of reach around the back and plug it in. God knows what spiders there. It's all that out. So yeah, art lesson. It went well. So basically, I went from, there was like a transition from this, which is a bit crappy, in my opinion, to, and let's say a middle ground. Where's our middle ground now? It's this one. Let's say this, which has got kind of like 2 extremes on it. I do like this one though, even though I don't think he did. I do like it. I don't care. To this. I mean, legit, I would like put this up or this one up in my house. I might actually do that, and frame them because I like them. So, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's all subjective at the end of the day. So, anyway, that was my experience with my first proper life drawing lesson. It's all based on the book The Creative Eye, which I've asked my girlfriend to get me for my birthday. So hopefully, she will get me that. I think she will, and I'll have a read of that. What was the lady's name who wrote it? can't remember now, but it's called The Creative Eye. It's on Amazon. There's a version for like £80, which is like some fancy hardback. It looks like a reprint or something, but you can get it for like 18 quid. Less than that actually. I think the copy I saw was like 16 quid. So yeah, if you see it for 80 quid, just keep looking, because that's a rip-off. Well, I don't know, the information in the book's pretty good, but when you can get it for 16 quid, like, you might as well. So yeah, that was my experience with life drawing. I might do a couple more videos. I've got one lesson a week now for like 6 weeks. I might not necessarily do one after every lesson, but I just thought I'd do one now because it kind of changed my thinking a little bit to be more like, oh, do you know what, it's not so bad being more expressive in my art. Like, I don't want to be expressive to the point where I feel like it's pretentious. Not that I'm saying, you know, all this stuff is pretentious, but actually no, I am saying that. I feel like there is some of that stuff out there, but I do feel like there's space for that, like in some of my work. So I think I'm gonna work on that. And yeah, it's kind of brought me back to, I've not really used charcoal for a while. I've been more doing things on the iPad. And it was nice to just the simplicity of the charcoal, and you make a mistake, you just rub it out or draw over it or blur it, or it just becomes, I mean, you can draw like this, you make a mistake, it's part of the work. There is, you know, I was genuinely at some points there I was like, oh, I'm having fun here, and it sounds sad, but sometimes when I'm drawing I don't feel like that. I feel like it's a chore, like, oh, I'm not good enough, I need to get better, I need to practice this, I should be drawing this, I should be drawing that. Whereas this was just like, I was just like enjoying myself. So yeah, but that, oh, and if you're interested, it did cost me a bit of money to do this. It cost about 245 quid for 6 sessions. Yes, it wasn't super cheap. There are lots of life drawing classes going on, you know, all over the country really. And well, the last time I went, it might be a bit more now, but it was before the whole thing happened, you know, the lockdown. It was like 10 quid for like 3 hours. It was like a bargain, and then you got like a cup of tea in the middle. You didn't get directly taught anything, but you know, 10 for 3 hours, pretty good value for money. So it's probably about the same now. You can do them online as well. Personally, I wouldn't do that. I don't think it's the same. Like, you might as well just download a reference image of a naked person, draw that. Like, you know, unless you're getting like actual tutoring, then it's probably more worth it. But then you will be paying more money. I'm pretty sure you would be, like I am here. So yeah. Alright, well, hope you enjoyed the video, and see you again next time. Bye!